Hi everyone! Welcome again to our webinar program. This is the 11th webinar of our webinar series 2019. The topic of our webinar today is teacher professionalism in the 21st century. We're going to learn 3 talking points as follows. What is teacher professionalism? What are the characteristics of teacher professionalism in the 21st century? And how can the teacher enhance professionalism in the workplace? Because the foundation of an educated society relies on the teachers who daily interact with the students from early childhood to young adulthood, it is important to understand what it means to be a professional teacher. Thus, our first talking point attempts to explore teacher professionalism as it seeks to answer what is teacher professionalism. Professionalism refers to the knowledge and skills, good judgment, and polite behavior that is expected from a person who is trained to do a job well. In scholarly debates, 2 versions of teacher professionalism are portrayed: old professionalism and new professionalism. These 2 approaches emerged upon the changing social, political, and cultural circumstances. However, these 2 approaches are not completely opposite to each other. Sachs 2003, who developed this classification, differentiates these 2 approaches, as old professionalism is concerned with exclusive membership, conservative practices, self-interests, external regulation, slow to change, and reactive. On the other hand, new professionalism are exclusive membership, public ethical code of practice, collaborative and collegial, activist orientation, flexible and progressive, responsive to change, self-regulating, policy active, inquiry-oriented, and knowledge-building. Generating from both approaches is the 21st century meaning of teacher professionalism. In the 21st century meaning, teacher professionalism is interpreted as a professional work field with its sociological, ideological, and educational dimensions. Teacher professionalism aims at achieving the highest standards in teaching profession, which is based upon the professional formation, knowledge, skills and values, and practice that teachers must have in order to be effective educators. It aims at improving the quality and standards of teachers' works and professional image. What is a professional image? A professional image is the set of qualities and characteristics that represent perceptions of one's competence and character as judged by his key constituents, namely superiors, subordinates, colleagues, students, and others. The professional image is judged based on unwritten rules regarding attitudes, conflict, approaches, values, and communication styles. This is critiqued by your communication, your image, your physical appearance, and the way you carry yourself and dress, your competence, and your demeanor. As a teacher, you play a critical role in helping young people achieve success in the classroom. A professional demeanor shows you take your responsibilities seriously. Failing to act professionally sets a bad example and may cause you to lose the trust and respect of students. The second topic. Demonstrate professionalism in all aspects of your career to provide your pupils the best education possible.
I would like to share with you 10
Let's move
characteristics
to the second talking
teacher
point.
professionalism.
What are the characteristics of teacher professionalism in the 21st century? I would like to share with you 10 characteristics of teacher professionalism in the 21st century. 1. Character. 2. Commitment to change and continuous improvement. 3. Subject knowledge and pedagogical knowledge. 4. Communication skills. 5. Professional dress. 6. Using of social media. 7. Privacy and confidentiality. 8. Positive communication. 9. Diligence in school safety. And 10. Making a great impression. Character. A professional teacher is resilient and keeps his composure at all times and under all circumstances. He is caring, nurturing, friendly, patient with all, well-organized, flexible, display confidence in the classroom, and a role model for students. He is conscientious, creative, dedicated, goal-oriented. He cares about what he does, takes pride in his work. He is ethical in and out of school, adheres to code of conduct, sets high standards for self and students, goes above and beyond to do the job, and opens to new ideas and receptive to suggestions. He is a risk taker, eager to learn new things, views teaching as a career, not just a job, looks forward to coming to school, and enthusiastic about teaching. Commitment to change and continuous improvement. A professional teacher is reflective and constantly evaluates his choices and actions to improve instruction. He recognizes the necessity to change and continually seeks to improve his classroom practices. He understands current trends in education, actively seeks opportunities to grow professionally, participates in meaningful professional development activities, initiates changes if necessary, and a lifelong learner. Subject knowledge and pedagogical knowledge. A professional teacher has knowledge on curriculum and knowledgeable in all areas of certification. He exercises innovative teaching, participates in action research, motivates students to learn, knows how to assess learning, and plans lessons accordingly. He applies learning theories, addresses needs of children, uses proper English, and appropriate learning strategies for discipline, and has various teaching strategies and knows when to use them. He is informed with current trends in research and best practices. He challenges some of the current practices when necessary. Communication skills. A professional teacher communicates well and sound professional when meeting with parents in person or speaking with them on the phone, and uses correct grammar in speaking and in writing to parents via email. He models good communication and demonstrates its importance to students. He has a sense of humor with students. Sense of humor is an important trait for teachers to have, but using sarcasm in the classroom is inappropriate. Sarcasm can be confusing and therefore not funny for many students. Professional dress. A professional teacher dresses neat and clean and appropriate for teaching situation. He knows what is appropriate and inappropriate attire for a certain occasion. He has positive attitudes, respects children and their thinking, has a passion for teaching, dedicated to students, and puts the child's welfare first. Using of social media. A professional teacher uses social media appropriately. This is probably the number one area to focus on with teachers, especially those who are younger. Social media accounts are rarely completely private, and posting questionable photos or even negative comments is out of line for a teacher. A professional teacher makes sure that who he is someone that he can all be proud of. Privacy and confidentiality. A professional teacher does not share student information on any source that isn't secure or password protected, and he protects the privacy of all students in his class. He considers some occurrences, such as custody situations, that require teachers to be diligent about releasing information only to people who are on an approved list. In this regard, the professional teacher considers how to protect his students. Positive communication. A professional teacher uses the electronic communication well, for it seems that all are using it more and more. Electronic communication creates a documented record of communication. If the teacher is going to email parents about situations at school, he ensures that it is very positive, making sure he doesn't appear unprofessional. He rereads every email to check for typos and misspellings and read it with the eyes of a parent. He asks himself, what would I think if I received this from the teacher? This helps improve teachers' communication with parents. Diligence in school safety. In today's classroom, part of teacher professionalism is knowing and following all security procedures. A professional teacher needs to know the ins and outs of lockdown drills, protecting students in emergencies and intruder alerts. Being a professional might mean questioning a parent who forgot to put on his name badge. This wasn't an expectation 25 years ago, but with numerous school safety issues over the past few years, it is now part of teachers' job. And making a great impression. Because the professional teacher never knows when being recorded, it is critical to always put his best foot forward. Sometimes, the photo shared online isn't one the teacher knew was taken. So it is critical to be aware that as professional, our dress, language, comments, and behaviors factor into the image others have of who we are. Professional teachers should always try to err on the side of caution. I have just presented some important characteristics of teacher professionalism in the 21st century. You may ask, do teachers typically behave in these ways? What aspects of professionalism do teachers deem as most important and why? As we continue to examine teachers' understanding of what it means to a professional, we need to learn how to best utilize this information in order to cultivate and enhance the professionalism of all teachers in the workplace. Let's proceed to the third and the last talking point of our webinar today. How can the teacher enhance professionalism in the workplace? I would like to share with you 9 ways to enhance teachers' professionalism in the workplace. 1. Project a neat and clean look with your clothes and styling. 2. Prepare thoroughly for each day of teaching. 3. Improve punctuality. 4. Be passionate, positive, and enthusiastic about your work. 5. Take charge of your classroom. 6. Take pride in the process and the products of your teaching. 7. Positive interaction with students. 8. Productive interaction with colleagues. And 9. Ongoing professional training. Project a neat and clean look with your clothes and styling. Come to work looking the part of a teacher, not trying to dress like your students. Prepare thoroughly for each day of teaching. Check your planner the evening before and get ready for the following day. Professional teachers plan thoroughly for every lesson and class. Then they stick to their work program and assessment schedule. Improve punctuality. A professional teacher understands the need to start the day well. Every day, start the class on time. The first impression you make each morning sets the tone for the rest of the day. Be passionate, positive, and enthusiastic about your work. If you need a positivity boost yourself, take some time each morning or between classes to remind yourself why you got into teaching and what you get out of it. Retain this positive enthusiasm beyond the classroom as well. For instance, a professional teacher will not create negativity in a staff room or engage in mindless gossip. Take charge of your classroom. Respect your students and demand the same respect from them. Clearly lay out your rules for classroom behavior and enforce them consistently. Don't shout or lose your cool. Remain calm and collected, and be clear on what needs to happen. When necessary, involve the school administration for serious discipline issues. Take pride in the process and the products of your teaching. Make sure your lessons, notes, and handouts are professionally presented. That is, neat, clear, easy to follow, and without simple errors or typos. Take a moment to consider how you would grade your own efforts. If they would be anything other than passing with flying colors, increase your efforts. Positive interaction with students. When it comes to interacting with students, you must understand there is a fine line between being a caring adult and being a friend. Professional teachers do not let their desire to be liked by students in the way of enforcing classroom and school rules. They do not show favoritism or discriminate against students. Productive interaction with colleagues. Professional teachers strive to interact effectively with one another. Teachers in the same department may collaborate to share teaching strategies, analyze data, and discuss curriculum issues. Teachers are concerned with the school community and how they can work with their colleagues to create an environment that maximizes learning and bolsters achievement. Professional educators do not gossip or inappropriately share confidential information. And ongoing professional training. Professional teachers commit to professionalism enthusiastically and participate in training to stay abreast of advances in technology and emerging trends in education. They seek information on best practices and teaching strategies for all types of learners. Other interests include reading books, magazines, and blogs about education. Some teachers conduct research to continually improve their teaching methods and support the performance of their students. Additionally, many attend education conferences and belong to professional organizations to connect with others in the field. I have just presented to you the key points of our webinar session today as follows. the concept of teacher professionalism, the characteristics of teacher professionalism in the 21st century, and ways to enhance professionalism among teachers in the workplace. I hope you learned something from this webinar and apply it at work in your own context and circumstance. I hope to see you in our last webinar series 2019, webinar 12, Building Self-Motivation Skills That Work. It will be held in December 2019. Thank you for joining us today.